Hello, fellow compatriots. This is your host, Tumblr here, and today we're going to be taking a look at Studio. Yes, that's right. And turns out you guys really like my Studio tutorial. However, I decided to clean things up a little bit, make it a little bit more polished, and take my time as I show you the multiple ways in how to use Studio, which means this is going to be the default video that you can go to for learning everything about the basics of Studio. So if you like this content, why not leave a like and also subscribe for more. But yeah, and also I made sure to go nice and slow when it comes to making this type of video, so you guys can enjoy the sweet ASMR that is Professor Tributron. But anyways, I digress. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you from an hour from now. Hello, fellow compatriots. This is your host, Tributron here, and today I am going to be showing you how to work Studio 2.0. This little guy over here. There are probably other videos that could show you how to install Studio 2.0, but in this video in specifically, I am going to show you how to go ahead and install some custom parts into Studio. And not only that, but show you how to operate Studio, all the mechanics and how to operate it, and so on and so forth. So first, I'm going to show you how to install it, and then I'm going to give you a quick tutorial / rundown on how to go ahead and make everything work. Now, starting today, we're actually going to go to open up a file explorer. Before we even do anything, I'm going to open your file explorer. So what you want to do, the thing about custom parts is that you can put them basically anywhere. Now, for me in particular, I like to keep everything in an external hard drive, but you can also put it in documents as well. So you go ahead, open up your documents folder, and then you want to create a new folder. And you want to call it Lego Creations. And then after that, you want to make another folder called Models. And then another folder, Custom Parts. And over here, you can just put your renders in here as well. But if you want to be even more tidy, you can create another folder and call it Renders. So not only do you get your custom parts, but you also get your renders right in there. And then this is the folder where you go ahead and put all your custom parts. So to begin again, so you want to start off in Documents. Make your Lego Creations folder. You make Models and Custom Parts and Renders. Renders is optional. You don't need to put that in there if you don't want to. I just like things nice and organized. And once that's said and done, you are good to go. Now, for all intents and purposes, I'm gonna go ahead and delete this because I do not need that, because I have everything already in the external hard drive. Please do not delete it. Whatever you do, please do not. So we actually got movie style Hordika parts. These look nice. They look beautiful. They look lovely. I love them. And as you can see, all the different designs that you can get with some Hordika. This is a match made in heaven. And I love those new finger pieces. They are so helpful. Thank you, Lego, for making those. Now let's go ahead and add $5 at the cart. Yep. And we're just gonna put our PayPal in here. I'm gonna go ahead and skip this. Hold on. All right. I kind of want articulated limbs as well. This is... We'll put $1 there at the cart. Nice. All right, so we already got these. We'll start with the Hordika limbs. Let's download. There we go. Okay, so if you so happen to miss downloading anything from Gumroad, be sure to check your email. It will be in your email. And you click the download button. Now that we got both pieces, this is where the fun begins. So everything will be in your downloads. So we're gonna start off with the Merrimack styled forearms because that was what we were playing with. So you want to open this here, and you got a collider, parts, connectivity. Check here. There we go. Connectivity. There's that. Parts. All your parts. Okay, everything's here. And now you want to go ahead, seeing that everything's in here. You want to click extract all. Now I noticed right away it is missing the installer tool. If you guys do not have the installer tool, be sure to go ahead and message me. That way you can be able to install parts yourself a very easy and efficient manner. Now we're going to extract and we're going to browse. And what we're going to do is make sure you go to Documents, go down to Lego Creations, Models, Custom Packs, and then select Folder. Extract. Now it will create a new folder in there. So to check, to make sure, you go to Documents, Lego Creations, Models, Custom Packs, and you should see the movie styled. Oh, okay, hold on. Miramax pack. All right, it didn't create the pack. That's annoying. So, I want to put that in the Miramax pack, and then we go ahead and look for other parts from sort by date. All right, and these two go in the Miramax pack. There we go. Now you want to get your custom pack installer tool. If you do not have it, let me know. This will not, some packs have them, some do not. I prefer it. Be sure to go ahead and message me if you need the installer pack, and I will email it to you. So you want to go ahead and actually let me Control C so you can copy, and then Control V, and now it's in here. Now I'm gonna do it again, this thing, but to be on the safe side, because I find it annoying, go to custom packs, and then we're gonna create a new folder of Taurin limbs, and that should be in the top there. So that's a new folder that we made, the of Matoran limbs, and that's where the other parts pack is going to go. So we're going to go back to downloads, and then we're going to extract all, and we're going to browse, and you want to click on of Matoran limbs. You will always want to create a folder named after the folder that you are extracting. Once you do that, click select folder and extract. Now this doesn't have the installer tool either, but again, if you don't have the installer tool, just message me. So we go back to documents, Lego creations, models, and then custom packs. And then we got the Avmatorn limbs. And already over here, you got all the parts that we could ever ask for, all in here. But we need the installer tool. So what we do is, because we still got it on our clipboard, you Control V. So always copy and paste your Studio Custom Pack tool and put it in the Avmatorn limbs or any other part pack that you have. Now, once you have it in there, this is the most important thing. All right, you ready? Go ahead and click on this so that you can run it. And then, as you can see, all the files were copied and connectivity is there. So now only thing you had to do is press enter. Now, if the pop-up screen is red, that means that the installer tool isn't put alongside any of these. It needs the collider, it needs the connectivity folder, as well as the parts folder. So you want to make sure your installer tool is with these three. And again, these parts can be anywhere. You can have them anywhere. But again, it's very important. And again, same thing over here. Make sure you make a folder for your custom parts. And the name of the parts pack it is. And then in there, you put the collider, connectivity of parts, as well as the installer tool. And then you open it, you run it, everything is green, and then you're done. And the most important thing, never forget this. The most important thing that you need to do is do not install any of the parts while you have Studio 2.0 running in the background. Make sure this is not running, okay? Do not have this open. If it is running while you install it, you may have to redo the steps that I have presented here. So you want to close down Studio, you download the parts, you go ahead and make sure that you have the installer tool in and everything, and then you run the installer tool program. So make sure you install the parts when Studio is not running for best performance. Now, once everything is done, you close that folder, and we're going to go ahead and run Studio 2.0. Now, Studio 2.0 for me takes a few minutes. For some people, because they have more parts than others, it can take a lot longer. Now, the longer wait time is usually normal, especially if you have a lot of parts installed into your computer, or in my case, in my external hard drive, because it's extracting all those files and putting it into Studio. And some files, especially some model files, are pretty big, and so sometimes you may notice like render time being slow in the previews of Studio. But if you made it this far, we're now going to be going into how to operate Stud.io 2.0. And so you guys get to see how to operate and work it. And this is all not scripted at all, if you could not tell already. A very important thing is that you do never want to update Studio. Never update it. Never update the program. And the reason why is that it may mess up the custom parts that you have installed. It will mess them up severely, because in later updates, especially for Stud.io, is that it will prevent custom parts from working properly. Not only that, but it does not support custom parts, especially all these mods that we're putting in. So you want to click Not Now. Now, if you don't have the earliest model, version 2.21, just let me know, and I can send you that version so that you can have all your custom parts and everything working properly. Now, when you open Studio, you're going to be presented with this. Now, you can sign into Bricklink so that whenever you go ahead and make a build, you can just order the parts through Bricklink, and you can get your set immediately right then and there. You just got to order the parts from various shops. However, it can be hit or miss sometimes, but if you hit the right filters, it can work pretty well. And as you can see, I got some other projects that I have been working on. So this is created whenever you have a project that you were working on before. So it will always pop up over here in these three. Now, if you want to go ahead and look for a more specific file, you can click the open button. This prompt over here. But you don't have to do that because you're just starting. This is the new time, first time you're making anything in Studio. So you want to click create new. You can also click this, and this does the same thing as this. It's two buttons that do the same thing. So you want to click that. Now, you have a mouse, you're moving your mouse. You're like, okay. And usually, let's make it look more like, okay, so this is your master. The master is basically base Studio. All the parts that would be in Studio would be over here. And they got the categories and all that stuff. But how do you move in this? Like, we see people move all the time. So you want to go ahead and hold the right trigger of your mouse. So you hold it, keep holding it. Do not let go of it, all right? This is hold it for dear life, all right? And then you start wiggling. As you can see, it's moving your surface. And I'm just holding right trigger while I am moving my mouse. So that is pretty cool. And then you can use the scroll of your mouse to zoom out and zoom in and all that stuff. And you can kind of use them in tandem if you really want to for precision, but that's only for real gamers, okay? And not only that, but if you hold shift and the right trigger of your mouse, you can shift side to side. And this helps a lot when you want to go ahead and work in a particular perspective. Now over here, you will see color palette. What color palette is it allows you to select different colors that you want. So if you click here, you can choose different colors that you would want your parts to be in. And if right now it's set to all, so it's showing you all the colors. But if you go ahead, let's say click on green, you see all the green colors, including aqua for some reason. And you also get trans colors as well. So you got trans green, trans purple, and chrome colors as well. And as well as glow in the dark and some glittery colors, rubber colors. And I also have a color, a custom colors pack that I have installed into Studio, so I get like renders and so forth. You can also get the color pack too. Mine is limited, however, because my computer is weird. So let's start off something simple. Let's get a brick. Okay, I'm gonna get a brick. You place the brick, and I just placed it. Let me repeat that again. So you use the right, you left click on whatever part you want, you carry it over, and then you left click again. And now you have two of them. Now you can keep stacking them and keep repeating over and over, but if you want to get rid of this, you can either press delete on your keyboard or you can press the right trigger of your mouse. And now, if you look, we got ourselves a pillar. Now that is very impressive, it's beautiful, but what if we wanted different colors? Let's say we wanted a red. So you get a red, but wait, I have it, I just clicked red and now it's light bluish gray. The reason why it's doing that is because you want to have it selected first. and then you go ahead and press the red. Now, but what if you don't want to do that? What if you just want to select the color, right? So you select on blue, and then you click on the brush, the roller, the paint roller over here. And what this paint roller over here will select all of that for you. So that's great. That's dandy. And you can switch colors as well. So you can do that, and you can add yellow and put it on the top. And I didn't click on yellow. But yeah, so there you go. And this is like the best mock you probably have ever seen in your life. And it looks amazing, right? But we came here for Bionicle, right? So, and you can select all of them. You see what I did there? I hold the left trigger of my mouse. I keep holding, and I can select everything. Now, while you're selecting everything, that means you can change the color to whatever you want. Like either be yellow or medium lime, or you can go ahead and go towards the bright pinks. But what that also means is you can also delete it. Now, how was I able to deselect? I pressed the right trigger. Well, left trigger actually. I pressed the left trigger. Sorry about that. To deselect. So hold left trigger to select everything. Click on left trigger to deselect. And you can also delete everything. So that's another thing you could do. Not only that, but we got different categories here. So you want to go ahead and look over here. You got brick round, slope, and this is all your Lego stuff. But most of the Bionicle stuff you'll find either in Technic linker, Technic function, as well as buildable figure. Now, if you want to go ahead and cut things short, there's a search bar over here. So if you just type in Bionicle, all this pops up. And that helps to a degree, but you won't get everything there. As you can see, you got some like some Bora guys, you got these pieces, so yeah, very fun and dandy stuff, as you can tell. So you can very easily just make an abomination if you really wanted to. And you can deselect this like I showed earlier, or you can do what I was about to do, which is just select another thing. Go ahead and go up like this. And you can connect things all you want. And then that can go right there. And now we got this thing. Now, you can color it in different colors if you want to. So we're going to actually color this. So we got, let's say, a dark green. And you can pick colors that these parts exist in. That is a thing you can do. And usually, it will not highlight like this. When there's an exclamation point right next to a part, it means it does not exist. But we all know that this exists in bluish gray. And wait a minute. Hold on, what? Yeah, it's just glitching right now. Yeah. So that exists. And if we go red, we can actually, let's do orange. Trans neon orange. There we go. So we got that. Now for posing, you go ahead and you clicked on the part, and you see this little part over, this little highlighted thing over here. If you put there, hover your mouse over it, just hover it, you get two prompts. You can either move it in various axes, or you can rotate, and we want to click rotate. And that gives us two options. We can pose this area over here relative to this part. So if you go ahead and pose here, what's going to happen is this and this is going to move. But if you pose from here, then this and this is going to move. let me show you. So you click on this one, and as you can see, this and this is highlighted. And you get 3 options here. You can rotate here, or rotate here. And what this allows you to do is you can click on this and hold it, and you can adjust it. So let me go ahead and do that again. So you click and hold, and you move your mouse back so that you can get more of a precise angle. And we're gonna do that. And we can also rotate this. So we're gonna rotate this all the way 180. Now you don't have to do that with this. You can also just rotate it the traditional way if you really want to do that. And that's done with arrow keys. So with arrow keys, you can grab a part. Let's say this keychain, right? Once you click on it, you select it, and you can use the arrow keys of your keyboard to move it in different orientations. So this is how you move things in Studio. All right, so we're posing this. So we can click on both, and you can rotate this now that we have it like that. And then we click up here, and as you can see, because you clicked on the head and you press the adjustment tool, you can adjust it like that. And there you go. You got a strange little guy. And if you want him to have hands, you can grab a claw, plug it over here. But this also presents an interesting thing. You can also do that. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, that doesn't look right. How can you connect both like that? That makes no sense, nor does it ever make sense. And what happens if... Now, in order to negate this obvious problem right here, we got an axle going through a space in here and another axle going in the same place. That's physically not possible. Now, some of you might see that as unlocked potential, but in case if you want to be a purist and you don't want to make something discursed, you go over here and click on collision. Now, what collision is going to do is it's going to tell you what's possible connection and what's not a possible connection. If you click collision, things will happen. So if I were to try to, you see, it's saying I can't do that. You see how it became transparent? It says I'm not allowed to do this. I can't do that. That's not physically possible because it knows there's an axle in there. So that's and you can't even click on the left trigger of your mouse to connect it even if you wanted to. You just can't do it. But if you don't have collision, you could just plop it in there and you don't have to worry about it, even though that is very illegal and it's not allowed. Now that we got that out of the way, once you got your completed model, you can select the whole thing, and you got different options you can do. Let's say you want it tilting a little bit, like the body tilting. So we go ahead and you click the rotation tool. And then you can go ahead and tilt the body ever so slightly. You can tilt the head just a little bit. And then you get the rotation tool for the foot. And now he looks energetic and happy. Look at this guy. Now, of course, what if you want to go ahead and position him differently? So you get your slider tool, and this will present you with different options. So you can either slide him this way, slide him that way in the x-axis, as well as the y-axis by gripping and holding the arrow with the left trigger of your mouse. So you can also program in different coordinates that you want. You can do the same thing with the angling tool by inputting in different positions. Like for example, if you put the rotation tool and you just click this, you're presented with this, and you can edit it. You can put like 369, and it does that. You can also add a negative 369, and it goes the other way if you want to do that. But you don't have to. Now, how did I do that? That's a great question. I'm glad you asked. So let's say I did something that I did not want to do. So I grabbed this this hook here, and I put it in there. That doesn't look right. I don't like that tail. So what you do is you either go to the tool section over here, the edit tool, and you click Control Z. You can click undo this way. But if you want to do it repeatedly, you just click Control Z multiple times, and then that goes away. No problem. Don't have to worry about it. So you got that. Now that we got that out of the way, you can also check stuff that are stable. So you can check stability as well. Now, obviously, this guy doesn't look very stable, especially considering he's like this, and it will show. So 3 warnings. There's some clutch issues. This is the obvious clutch issue right here. And however, it's fairly stable. 0 stability issues. Connectivity. 0 detachable sections. So you can check this, and afterwards you can close this window. So that's a thing that you can also do. Now, we're here for custom parts, so let's go straight into that. And we'll go back to this guy later. So you can grab him and you can move him everywhere. Not only that, but it's very important if you can use your shift tool to look in different directions if you want to look at different directions. So we're gonna move him in the corner there, just for now. Let's get some custom parts in the go. So you wanna press X on this. And you wanna go up here, where it says Master. And you wanna go down to Custom Parts. If you click on Custom Parts, you will see all of this. And you get a whole bunch of custom parts. These are all the parts that I downloaded. But we're here for some limbs. And it's processing, it's loading. Now these are the Avmatoran limbs, as I can already tell. And we can see that very clearly with is this one. There we go. And what this can do is you get the rotation tool still. So that is nice. They work very nicely as expected. Now, if your parts do not show up over here, and what you need to do is try to close down Studio. That's the first thing you need to do if your custom parts do not show, is to close down Studio and try to reinstall the parts. Make sure you got them in the proper folder. Make sure that your installer tool is in there. If you do not have the installer tool, please let me know and I will send them right your way. So yeah, cool. Parts are here. So if I pull them out, and as you can see, all the different body parts are here for our Hordika needs. So all of them are here. As we can see, all the various different types. And we even got this piece, which looks kind of cool. I do like pieces like that. And we also got some more tapered ones. So they're all different variations of the same part, which I can't complain. Look at all those different variations. Gotta love it. Oh, pocket. But yeah, so all the parts are here. Everything works. And to test it, you can go ahead and get some sockets. Now, I know where you're wondering, okay, where are the sockets, Tributron? Where are they? Well, you want to go into Master. So once you go into Master, things will start running a lot more smoother. I always, like, never stay too long in custom parts. It makes Studio run slower, especially on my end. User digression may vary. User experience may vary. So you want to go to Technic Linker. And that's where you're going to be finding all your pins and axles. Now, if you don't want to be scrolling forever and stuff like that, you can just use the search bar for even part numbers. Yeah, you can even use it to search up part numbers. So if you know a part number, you can just put it in there and it will find it for you like almost immediately every single time. That is like the end all way to find a part that you want in specifically. Like if it's a very obscure part. And I'm just gonna test these out. Now, as you can see, we got some hands here and we can test to see how well they perform. They perform nicely, and you don't always have to be facing directly on it if you want to. You can still move your mouse if you want to go ahead and pose the figure some more using the shift key as well as your right trigger of your mouse in tandem without pressing the left trigger. Second you do, it will deselect it. So that works perfectly as I would expect it to. And then I can also rotate this. Yeah, everything works. Which is lovely. So be sure to go ahead and give a shout out to the creators that made these. I'll go ahead and put their names on the screen. They did a phenomenal job. I love them. All right, now let's go ahead and learn a bit about rendering. So we're gonna do some rendering right now before we do anything else. But before we do that, I was talking about parts and searching parts. So if you put a part number, let's say 843, and you find it almost immediately. See, I love knights, okay? So you can find parts like that, or 233, and you can find more parts like that. I know it's like 836, 833. So you got that, or 82003. But yeah, so if you put any part number in there, you will find it, no problem. All right, let's go ahead and put a helmet on this guy. So we're gonna go ahead and go to buildable figure, because I think this guy needs a helmet. So let's go ahead and make a helmet. So we're gonna go ahead and get this helmet over here. And you can plop it on. And then you can go ahead and paint it any color. I kind of like the gray. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like the gray. So there he is. He's cute, he's adorable. But what if you want to make a Matoran? You can also make a Matoran. So you can go ahead and get your legs. So let's go ahead and do that as well. And you want to get your torso. You want to plop it in there. Now, a thing that you can also do is you select the leg, you rotate it, kind of like how you would expect. Once you rotate it, you can copy and mirror it for the other leg. So you want to go ahead and select this, and once you select it, in the bottom corner over here it says copy and mirror. You want to click that, and that will allow you to to connect it on the other part. Now, you may notice it's a little bit finicky. It's going to be a little bit finicky, but that's okay. And then you can go ahead and grab your Tahunga arms, and you can put it on either side. And you can get a head. Bionicle. Let's see if we can find the Tahunga head, if we can find it. I know it's here. Okay, maybe not here. It should be in custom parts. So we're gonna click on head. It will pop up right here. So once we get our head, we click on that. And then we got that. Now, a thing that you can also do is type in the type of mask you want in custom parts. So if you type in how, if you have the installer, if you installed additional parts, you can pull out the mask in question that you want and have it be put onto that model. Now, you already have this character over here. He's unpainted. And you can change the color of the parts too, by the way. So if you go to master, if you don't want like these colors being gray, you can just change the color to black. Some people have it in black, some people have it in red. Those who use LDD, I hear you and I see you, and I appreciate you. You can also change it to green if you want to do it in green. Anything is possible, but for me, I like the grays. It's a neutral color and it gets used a lot. So we're gonna go ahead and do some painting here, and I'm not gonna be using some blacks here. And I got some speckle colors that I want to use. So speckle gold. Use that for that mask. And then I'm going to be using some blacks. Especially for the rest of the torso. And then for the head, we go ahead and use some trans yellow. And we can, and if you have the color, custom colors, you can use luminous yellow, because I like luminous yellow. And that is not connected all the way, as you can see. If I had the connector tool, the collision tool, that will be like that. And I'll be like, wait, something's wrong here. So sometimes it's good to have the collision tool on. And you can select both and then reconnect it. And then if you use the collision tool, you see there's no issues anymore. Everything's fixed. So now that you got that out of the way, you can also turn off the collision. And if you want like parts, let's say to rotate, you can pose it normally. But what if you want something more dynamic? Feel like more like something from Minogue. What you can do is use the hide tool. So you click on this eyeball up in the corner over here. You can also use L, but you can select things and you can hide them. And now they're all hidden. But what that means, go ahead and rotate this. You can still pose it if you really want to, but I don't want to pose it in the traditional way. So you click show all and they all come back. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to be doing something a little bit more unorthodox. We're going to go ahead and do some collision madness. So does that make sense? So we can also do the same on the other side, because guess what? You got the copy and mirror tool, so you don't have to do the hassle of doing it again. And then you can just use the slide tool. Yoink. And go up a bit. And that. Nope. And let's go ahead and undo that, because I did not like that at all. And we're gonna go ahead and adjust it this way. There we go. And not only that, but you can adjust this up a little bit. You can then use the rotation tool, because it's disconnected now. So you can have this guy looking however you want him to do. Now, I think he's looking too high, so we need to do that. And then, once we feel comfortable enough, we go ahead and slide his head back down. And now, there you go. You have Makuta and his lovely little creation over in the back. Now, the thing that will happen is things may rotate out of the way when you select them, reposition them, but it's easy to fix. You just rotate the body, and then it's good as new. So there you go. Now, what if you want to render? So we're gonna hide this guy. We don't want him to be in the presence of this guy, and this will help with rendering. Let's see, it won't be rendering as much. Now, you want to click the render button. Once you click the render button, you have options here. So you got photoreal, point of view ray, and animation. POV ray is basically LDD. Think of LDD renders and that quality. Now, most people use photoreal because it looks nicer. But if you want to have that old charm of feeling like you're doing LDD, you can do that. There's also animation, but the animation is just basically turnaround sequence. You can also do a build sequence as well. But for now, we're just going to do photoreal. And you can do medium, high, very high, and then you can customize the quality. Now for this, we're just going to do high. You know, nothing too fancy. You got background light, which is default, but you can also change it to something else if you want to. Now, you can change the backgrounds as well. So for this one, I think a more sandy color would be more appropriate. And the thing is about this guy, as you may notice, you can pose him, change the camera the view of the camera just enough to do something interesting if you want him to look a certain way. And I think because this is Makuta, I think that is a good spot right there. I think that looks good. So, and you can change the light from different directions if you want, like left rear, right front, what have you. And then, so that's your camera. Best to leave it default. You can change the perspective if you want. Studio logo, stud logo, you want to keep that on. You can turn it off if you want to. For this instance, I'm gonna go ahead and turn the stud logos off. UV degradation, always like to have that on, and scratches, absolutely. And we're gonna increase the scratches to 0.8, and I think that will be just fine for this guy. I'm gonna get him more centered, and you can change the ratio, like from 8 to 600 or 1080p by 1080p. You can do that, but we're gonna do 4:3, and you can do it from landscape or portrait, whichever you want to do. And you click render. Now, once you click render, a pop-up will come up. And this is when your computer may or may not cry depending on what you're trying to build. Now, if it's something small like this, it won't struggle as much. Matter of fact, the render time will be a little bit quicker. But the bigger something is, the more longer it will take. Now, this is the pop-up I'm talking about. So we want to go ahead and name this untitled model Makuta. Not only that, but if you in your models render, this will go into your models render, or specifically your renders folder. If you want to go ahead and organize where you want your renders to be, but if you just want them in models, you can just keep it in models. I like to keep it in renders. So in order to do that, you go to Documents, Lego Creations, Models, Renders, and then it goes here. And I'm gonna call it Manog Makuta. Save. And then once you save, it will begin rendering. Now, as you can see, there is a window popped up. What's going to be happening here is going to be showing the PNG file of the render that you just made. In this case, Manog Makuta. Yeah, as you can see, that luminous yellow is very luminous. But yeah, that's how renders are made, and you can just close it for now. All right, once everything's processed, as you can see, like it finished rendering, Studio's acting normally now. This is going to be a common thing. Sometimes Studio will just lag out. That is completely fine. It's normal. That's usually how Jesus, how this thing typically operates. But yeah, so that is stud.io. Let me know if you guys want to go ahead and see more stuff like this, as this has been a fun experience not only for me, but hopefully it has helped you as well. And honestly, I am glad to have more pieces in my inventory, even though I used none of it in this video. But yeah. Oh, wait. Post edit on this video. I forgot to mention this, but you should probably save. This is a very important thing that even the most skilled of professionals, especially when it comes to computer programming or what have you, we always forget to save our work. So be sure to go ahead and click File up in the corner, and you have two options: click Save or Save As. Now, if it's the first time you saved, you click Save As, but if it's the second time, just click Save. Now, we never saved at all in the entirety of making this, so we should probably do that. So over in Models, which, by the way, it's Documents, Lego Creations, Models, and then you go ahead and type in tutorial 2.0, and we have another tutorial in there, but we'll check the second one out later. So yeah, there we go. Tutorial 2.0, it's been saved as tutorial 2.0. And right now it's saving. But yeah, that's all I wanted to add. Be sure to save your work. It is very important. Always save your work, because last thing you need to do is you're like halfway through like the most complicated build of your imagination, and then you forget to save. It's the worst thing to do. It happens every single time. Always be sure to save. It's very important. So, if you like this video, why not give it a like? And if you want to see more content like this, feel free to subscribe. And also, if you want to go ahead and check out any of my works from ascendingdevs.etsy.com, be sure to go ahead and check that out. I got custom parts, brain stocks, you name it, I got it. So be sure to go ahead and check that out. It's a whole toy line that I'm doing. Even sets are in production. So, Be sure to check that out as well. But that is all for now. So I will see you all in the next video. Bye, guys. And also give me a name for this man. This man needs a name. What shall his name be? Because he can be physically made, technically speaking. Just a little bit of glue and imagination, which is very cursed now that I think about it. But yeah, what shall we name this guy? He looks friendly, he looks nice. Anyways, enough ranting. Chat with you all later.